Talkin' Country. You're listening to Talkin' Country with Paul Taylor.
Hi, welcome to my channel, Talking Country, where we'll be chatting to the stars of country music from around the world, whether it's in Nashville, Australia, UK, Ireland. You'll get it here first. If you like us, subscribe and give us the big thumbs up. Hopefully you enjoy it. Rolling, kids.
Now we'll take your broken window and fix it with the things you find around. Now we'll take your unlit fire and find the fuel that helps it burn. And now we'll read your unread messages. No one had the time to read. And I will dry your running eyes when no one is around. Just please don't leave me when I'm not around. Just please don't leave me when I'm not around. Now we're Saturday alright now. Now we're Saturday alright now. Now we're Saturday alright now. Now we'll take a perfect sunset and paint it on your wall. Now we'll fake the banker's signature and bring you all the spoils. Now we'll take your condensated windows and turn them into streams. Now we'll take your broken nightmares and turn them into dreams. Just please don't leave me when I'm not around. Just please don't leave me when I'm not around. Now we're Saturday alright now. Now we're Saturday alright now. Now we're Saturday alright now. See Now we're Saturday alright now. Now we're Saturday, but I'm alright now.
Two, one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was I Was Hurt Today by Robert Vincent, our mate from Liverpool. And he's on the line all the way from Merseyside. Yeah, how you doing, mate?
Yeah. I'm good. How are you? You all right?
Yeah, I'm great, thanks. And it's been a while since we spoke. I think I'd only been at the Cats. I think a month. I think it was November, wasn't it, when you came in with the guitar at the studio?
That's right. Yeah.
And not a lot's happened since then, has it?
Yeah, it's been quiet. Yeah. No, I mean, between pandemics and everything else. I mean, yeah, the Americana Awards were quite cool.
Oh, he's got the album as well, hasn't he? He's got the award from the album and Artist of the Year as well. So that congratulations on that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, thanks very much. And also the Americana UK guys as well. They're based in Merseyside, but they gave me the same too. So I've got to give them a shout out as well, because they've been very kind and pushing the new record and making sure that people are listening to it. So that's great too.
It's
been well received.
Well, it's been tough actually, because obviously you'd launched the album, and the new album, and like I said, we've been playing Conundrum quite a bit. To be fair, we got a lot of requests for that particular song. Yeah. And one of the great things about having an album like that is the content, and it's different than stuff that's out there, I think. I mean, I know it's not country per se, it's Americana, which is obviously a broader spectrum of blues, country, rock, all that kind of mixed in with that, isn't it? So yeah, it lends itself right across quite a few genres, not just pigeonholing yourself, isn't it?
No, it definitely does. And I always try to do that. I mean, some people, I've had one conversation with someone who was somebody that was in the music industry, but not necessarily like kind of a critic or anything. They work in artist management, but he listened to the album and he said, I really like it, but it genre jumps, and I don't really get that, because Americana is a mixture of all kinds of different things. If there was a hip hop track on there, I could totally understand that.
I can't see you doing hip hop. I cannot see you doing hip hop, fella.
Never say never, but neither can I. But no, I mean, it definitely stays within the genre, but it shows my kind of love of different modes of what the genre has, and it kind of goes from the real kind of singer-songwritery stuff to band stuff, and to rockabilly and classic country sounds, like and the kids don't dig God anymore, that type of thing. And so it mixes up. That's what keeps me interested. So I kind of think that I hope that that's what keeps people listening to the record, that it's not just 10 tracks of one particular style. And I like to mix it up. When you mentioned Conundrum there, and Conundrum's almost like it's almost a nod to my love of Crowded House and Neil Finn and people like that. It's very.
I listened to. I interviewed a band the other night. You might not know them, called the Nashvillans.
I've heard the name actually.
Yeah, they're just starting to. They were songwriters, as most of them are, in like the Sony publishing houses, and they've done like music for films and all that. 3 guys, and they're just amazing vocals. And you want to check them out, mate. They've done a cover while they've been in lockdown. The 3 screens, on YouTube. Oh, yeah. And Don't Dream It's Over by Crowded House, and it is stunning. It is. You'd love it. You'll absolutely.
Yeah,
love it.
I'll check it. To the Nashvillians.
Well, they call it Nashvillans. But it's pronounced Nashvillians. I had to say to him, how do you pronounce that? But no, I mean, when you mentioned Crowded House, because I used to like him in Split Ends. I used to love Split Ends, and then obviously Neil had developed into Crowded House, and I think didn't he go with Fleetwood Mac for a bit when Lindsey Buckingham?
He did recently, yeah. He did recently, and I think it was in 2019. I was due to see him. I did see him. I saw him on his with his family. He came. They did an album with his family, and then they came to Liverpool and did a show. And they they had to move. Yeah, they had to because of those dates. They had to push they had to bring their dates forward, so they had to change the venue. So luckily, it turned out that he was playing in a place called the Epstein Theatre in Liverpool, which is only a 400-seater. Yeah. So to see him in there was amazing.
I think they're the best gigs, them.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it's like when C2C happens, but then sort of 6 months after or whatever, these big sort of artists start playing like the Albert Halls in Manchester, which I think is the best venue I've been to for a long time. And these superstars, and you're up close and personal. I like them rather than the big old,
Yeah, I agree.
razzmatazz. But getting back to the album, obviously, it's starting to gather momentum, and obviously COVID happened and
Yeah.
stumped a lot of people's work. I mean, how did you get by on that? I mean, what was the thought processes in getting forward?
Well, I remember the when they kind of called the complete lockdown around about, I don't know, 23rd of March or whatever it was. I thought I've seen a couple of people doing like Facebook Lives and doing, the Zoom thing wasn't quite taken off, but people started doing Facebook Lives and trying to do little gigs on it. And I thought, I'd never done it before. And I thought, well, in for a penny. Maybe it'll just keep me, even if I'm just doing it, singing to myself and getting drunk and it's, I don't know, like, it would just be something fun for me. But it really took off. People really got involved with that. And then that kind of turned into like a regular Sunday club where I'd do, 2 hours or 3 hours on a Sunday evening, with a few beers, and it grew into a community of people who really, there was a die-hard group of people who were like so supportive, and people wanted a tip and they wanted to donate. And people bought merch, and I had t-shirts done, and all. It was just crazy, and it kind of grew into its own thing. And I think that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Really, that whatever happens, if you're open to just trying different things, then usually something good comes of it.
I think I regret not getting into that, because I'd been certainly the initial lockdown. I was asked, "Oh, you're going to go onto this streaming platform and perform?" And I went, no, it's not my bag. If I did, I'd probably have to have cardboard cutouts behind the screen, to get kind of an audience sort of vibe, because I bounce off the audience. But to be fair, because I've not touched my guitar since November, since my last gig, when it eased a little bit for that few weeks. Yeah. And I did an impromptu one, and I haven't touched it since. And I'm going, my fingers are starting to go soft, and my voice isn't trained. And I'm thinking to myself, I better get my act together, because gigs are coming in.
Yeah, it goes so quickly. I think that's the thing. That's why I kept it up. I kept it up as like there's some weeks obviously that you're thinking, oh, maybe you don't want to, but once you've started, it's fine. You're into it, and it's like anything else. But the one thing that I wanted to try and do was to make sure that I didn't get rusty and I didn't lose, the ability to play those songs. And also, it's I don't know. It's hard to explain, really. I think my mind was definitely chasing the adrenaline hit of knowing that people are watching, and you're still keeping you on some kind of edge. Yeah. So that was all right. But I did 2 gigs in October. One was in Biddulph, St. Lawrence Church, which is lovely, and another one was in where was the other one? The one other one's gone right up my mind. But the first one which I did was Biddulph. I got on the stage and I started playing. I did the sound check; it was fine. Started playing to the audience, and I couldn't function. It was like the adrenaline. The adrenaline rush was just so much that I was kind of like, oh. And it was just, for the first 3 songs, it was just all over the place. And then I kind of got me act together. But it was literally my body didn't know what adrenaline was anymore. And it's you've got to get yourself ready for that one. Like
it's like ring craft, isn't it? You've got to get yourself it's sort of street smart and fit for the game. Is it match fit? That's it.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah. And I mean,
talking about matches, that was a good one last night. I'm pretty chuffed with that one, because I didn't think it was going to happen. I did not think.
I was watching it with me dad, and he was like, "Oh, I can't see us getting anything from this," and I was like, "I don't know." And it's our biggest derby, isn't it? I mean, the Everton derby seems to have kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit these days, but like the Manchester one's still got a bit of bite in it. So I was hopeful that we'd rise to the occasion, and the lads did. So it was great.
But the next 3 games, just to cover off the Liverpool thing, people are going, "Oh, 3 games." I'm going, yeah, but those 3 teams have really kicked us at the end of the seasons in the past. Crystal Palace, West Bromwich Albion, and who's the other one? At Burnley. They've all got that grit about them, and I'm like, oh no.
They've all been proper bogey teams for us in the past, and especially with Sam Allardyce loves nothing more than to
season,
frustrate Liverpool. Yeah, and Roy Hodgson's got he's also the same, but
No, it's cool, but yeah, but that's Liverpool aside. I thought I'd better mention it because I was in
Yeah,
I was in good spirits when last night. But like I said with the album, but coming from the lockdown came a series of EPs, didn't it? Really, that's sort of, you know, the great sort of separate pieces of work in themselves because it's raw.
They were literally recorded at home. And in a friend of mine's home, some of them were done when the lockdown lifted. That we sat around the kitchen table and we just put the mics up and we just recorded them live. So the general performances are all live. They're all just what they are, and that came from because people wanted to. Because of the nature of me just being sat there and playing the songs, and sometimes in early days when you could still have people in the house and stuff. You know, I'd get Danny to come and play double bass, and Robbie would be there playing fiddle and mandolin and banjo. So there was a mixture of all of this, and Anna came with the keyboard a couple of times. But people wanted that. They wanted to be able to buy something or have something to listen to that was representative of those gigs. As a reminder, I suppose. I mean, I don't know why anyone want to be reminded of a pandemic, but some people did want to be, you know. But it's. I think it was just that people enjoyed that kind of just the openness of those gigs and those recordings. And actually, it's really funny that I don't mind doing gigs on my own. I don't mind doing gigs as a duo or trio. I love doing band gigs, but I suppose I'd always tried to put on the biggest show that I possibly could. If I could take the band, I would try and take the band, even if it meant that, you know, money was tight, whatever. But now I kind of feel a little bit more. Now I feel a little bit more like, you know, I'm looking forward to going out and doing solo shows and doing shows as a duo, because it's just proven to me that the stuff works just as well like that as it does any other way, you know.
Yeah, I think you're quite right. And I tell you what really astounds me in a certain way, but it shouldn't really, because the human endeavor and spirit is the creativity of people during lockdown. You know, they've found different ways of doing stuff, you know, whether it is a lockdown session live on Zoom, or is it a collaboration with somebody else that you would never really collaborated with. And same with songwriting. Songwriting's took on, you know, you're not in the same room. So, okay, there is a certain syntheticness to it, but there's people writing with people. Have you spoke to James, our friend James House? He's doing quite a bit of writing. He's doing quite well, isn't he? And I thought out of anybody who's going to be creative and locked down and writing, it's going to be him.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, you know, he's got this lovely place out in I think it's out. It's south of. Is it south? Yeah,
it's in the woods, west, isn't it? Yeah,
in the woods, in the middle of nowhere. And I've been stayed there with him for a week, you know, and it's just the perfect place to write. So I mean, if you can't get anything written out there, then you're never going to, because there's literally no one, you know.
I know, he keeps telling me, he said, come over to Nashville and hang a bit, you know. I said, right, okay. In fact, that's what I was supposed to be doing a couple of weeks ago. So I turned 60. So that was my bucket list. Right. To go over, you know, and maybe catch a concert or two. But then it is what it is, isn't it? So it's...
Oh, mate, that'll all come back. You'll be able to do that soon enough.
Absolutely. But from a creative point of view, about writing yourself then, I mean, I would imagine, how many songs have you wrote?
I don't know. I've probably written a good album's worth of stuff, but I'm still in that process of, is it any good? I don't, you know, I tend to be, this tends to be the worst bit, is that I write a load of songs and then one day I'm playing it and I'm thinking, yeah, that's great, I really love that, and the next day I'm thinking, don't know, it doesn't feel, you know. So I always do that. I think this is my process. I think my process is exactly this. I'm my own worst critic on everything, and I probably throw away much more than I keep, and a lot of things get sidelined, and there's songs that are even, there's a song called I'm Still Here, which I wrote years ago, probably about 10 years ago, and it made it onto an EP just as a very acoustic song, and a couple of people started asking for it on the live shows. And I started playing it, and then I thought, wow, this is, you know, it's a really cool song. Why have I never really recorded this properly? So the songs like that I've gone back to as well. But yeah, I've been productive, but I think the lack of I think the lack of inspiration, the lack of being on the road, the lack
Yeah.
of gigs, I think has definitely made me feel not as not as confident about what I've been writing. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see anyway.
No, it's a good shout, that, because I mean, are you one that, you know, you might not have put it on on the recording, but you'll try it out live first to see if you get the reaction before you do that?
Sometimes I've done that with songs. Yeah,
Yeah.
certain songs. Because you might have just written something and you might be in two minds about it. It's always nice to get a reaction from people to see what they think.
You know, and a pen afterwards going, no, yes, no.
Yeah. If you get like a polite golfing clap, never to do that song ever again.
It's like a joke, isn't it? You'll tell a joke if you're a comedian and go, okay, leave that one else.
Yeah. When you see the tumbleweed.
Yeah, and I get that quite a lot as well. But but no, I've done it myself. I wrote a few songs that I'll try it out and people go, oh, like that. Have you recorded that? Oh, okay, you give it a go, and then you record it, and nobody buys it, so it's dirty. But
that's just the way of the world anyway. Could be the best song in the world, mate.
Absolutely. So what's happening now for you? Anything planned for the future? I mean, like I said, we've talked about songs, but from your own point of view, anything you can tell us?
I've kind of started working with a new management team and things, and we've been putting a lot of things in place. So there's been a lot of work behind the scenes in order to kind of make this big ta-da moment, So that's all going to kick in within the next month or so, I think. And we're going to be looking at I want to go straight into places like small theatres, art centres, that type of thing, and because I think the audience is there to play to, but I think that you've got to provide them with a safe gig now, and B, a gig where people know that they can come and get a seat and they can get a nice pint of real ale or a glass of wine or whatever it is before the gig, and they can come and sit down and watch something. I think my demographic is definitely not standing in an indie venue and watching what I do.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to change it up about what it is, and then if the ongoing kind of regulations with COVID are in place, then you can play these venues and you can play hard. It's just that I was looking at some of my gigs. I had like the Lexington and Jimmy's here in Liverpool, and it's like I've sold Jimmy's out. It's 250 people. Not too sure that even in July, 250 people will want to stand in each other's airspace and in a sweaty indie club. And I think that, so I'm going to just try and come around cut it off at the pass and see whether there's a different way of going about this whole thing, and try and get into art centres and small theatres and just try and build it up in my own way, really, because I'm a bit fed up of the merry-go-round of the usual gig scene, really, if I'm honest.
No, and I think, you know what? No, it's not negative, that, because like I said, the lockdown has made people think probably a 360-degree kind of angle now, and you're quite right in what you're saying. When I'm listening to your music, it can lend itself, and this is no disrespect to yourself or anybody else, which I think is a positive. You can go into a coffee shop, an artisan coffee shop or whatever, and you'll hear your music and it will not stand out as being wrong. But then you can go into another venue, which is totally different, and it's still relevant. So you're quite right in what you're saying. And I think a lot of the venues now, what I'm seeing now, they're changing the demographic. Maybe that'll change over when it's full down, not lockdown, but at the moment, they're adapting to the table, the waitress service, the more of a, not cabaret as such, but more of a sit down, listen and appreciate kind of thing. And I think you're right.
No, yeah, I think that's the way to go. It gives you a lot of time to think. I've had a lot of time to reassess what it is I do as a musician over the last 18 months as well, because I've been a working musician for over 20 years, best part of 20 odd years. And it's given me a chance to kind of step back and see what's important and actually what I want to try and do. And I feel like as if, there's enough people out there that know what I do now to maybe venture into something slightly different and take a bit more of a chance on it, so. And
I tell you what, from that first moment I saw you like live, I'd listened to you, but I saw you on the old Grey Whistle test that a couple of years ago. That was a great thing to happen to you, wasn't it? I mean, what an iconic program. And then suddenly went, oh, it's Rob Vincent. You say, yeah,
yeah, because it's funny. You never think you're going to get on a show like that, obviously, do you? Because it's because it was what it was, and it was never to be again, apart from that one off. And so that was just a real was a cool experience, and I still love it to this day. And I still get people still come up to me and say that they saw me on that, and people still get in touch to say that they saw me on that. So it's been huge, and I think that's why if I do go out and I do some of these other places, that I think that the audience will be there, because I think people will want to come and see a show in a place like a little theatre or arts centre. So fingers crossed that all of those people are still wanting to see something, you know.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what, mate, thanks very much for spending some time with us here, and I really wish you all the best going forward, and keep in touch, because we'll play anything new that you get. And like I said, you know, I love local talent, but I'll tell you what, mate, you're something else.
Oh, mate, I really appreciate that. I really do. And I appreciate all the support, and you playing the songs, and yeah, let's keep in touch, and hope to see you soon at a gig with a pint or something.
Or a glass of wine. Let's be posh.
Let's be posh.
But yeah, all the best, you mate. You and your family, stay safe and well.
You too, mate.
And are you not at the Liverpool Festival, are you? Is it in June?
July the 4th. Is that Ethan Allen's? Yeah. Yeah, I'm headlining that. I'm headlining it.
Oh, well, I'm going to be there. I'm probably going to be doing a bit of the DJ stunt with my mate Wayne, because we share a radio program. Well, and he's asked me to help him out, but I'll be doing some interviews and that, because I'm going to be interviewing for the BCMA now as well. So cool. I'll be different hats.
Yeah, that's what you got to have, as many hats as you can these days, mate.
But no,
I'll see you then.
All the best, mate. Take care, my friend.
Take it easy, man.
Adios. Bye-bye. Thanks, buddy.
No worries, man.
Yeah. So, any plans today? Anything happening?
Well, I've just I've been keeping fit as well. So I've been doing a lot.
Yeah, you've lost a bit of weight there, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of five-a-side and getting the gym and riding, and also it's just good for your state of mental health, isn't it? You know what I mean? It keeps you moving. You know.
Yeah, I've had a horrendous month. I've had gout has attacked me, because it comes every now and again, but I've always done it naturally. But because it was my 60th, I made merry. Red wine, and I went to the lakes and Centre Parks with the family, like, because obviously it was my 60th. Yeah. Then I had my mate's barbecue, massive steaks, and it's just gone for it. But it's gone in my ankle. Yeah, it's gone in for my ankle, so I couldn't walk. And then I was starting taking these tablets, and I had an allergic reaction all week. So I've been in I had a red onesie from here to my knees, naturally. So wow. Yeah, so I've stopped the training for a bit, but I'll get back into it in next week. But no, mate, thanks for spending a bit of time with us. No problem at all, and I'll catch up with you in July.
See you in July. Take care. Take care, mate. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.